Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another video. How's everybody doing? So I know I don't do a ton of videos like this or like other topic things, but I feel like in this case I gotta give you my 2 cents. This needs to be said. I can't I can't be silent about this. So I saw the Toy Story 4 last night, opening night, Toy Story 4. Oh, by the way, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then don't listen to this until after you've seen the movie if you're planning on seeing it. So just thought I'd throw that. You've been warned. Thought I'd throw that out there. So I went and I saw it. I went to the IMAX theater, which is really cool. It's really interesting because the IMAX theater is like the screen is much larger and you're not so much that you're closer to it, but it's like it's just really up and it's really tall and it's very immersive. Let's put it that way. Like the stairs are steep and it's like you feel like you're in the friggin' shot. You know what I mean? You're right there, which is pretty cool. Sound very good, tremendous. As far as all that stuff goes, really, really, really great way to see a movie. And I really wanted to see it at the IMAX theater because I haven't been there or to an IMAX movie theater in forever because they don't show very many movies in the IMAX format or at the IMAX theaters. They just don't. They're like certain select movies they'll show at like an IMAX type of thing, but for the most part they don't. They show like the select like action niche films, but like really huge like blockbuster films, titles like things like Toy Story, just massive. Like Toy Story's as big as it gets, other than like those like superhero movies like Batman and stuff like that. But so just like your average movie they don't show at the IMAX. So I figured why not? Want to go see this one there because they have it there, and I don't get to see many movies there just because the movies I tend to be interested in they usually don't have. So this one they did. I was like, let's go see it there, and it's definitely a cool way to see a movie because it's not like your traditional like screen and you're sitting back from it and it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like you're like when you walk into it, if you feel like you're too close to the screen, even if you're sitting in the back, maybe not quite the back, but even if you're sitting like towards the back, it still feels like you're too close. It's a weird, but it's like when the movie starts, it's pretty good. I don't know how to describe it, but it's pretty cool, very immersive. With that out of the way, what a disaster. I mean, I've been watching the Toy Story movies for 20 years now. Okay, well, I've been sitting here for 20 years just watching just endless, just like Toy Story on repeat. No, but I've been, ever since I was like, a wee lad, I've been watching Toy Story. And first of all, they make you wait a pretty damn long time to see it. Like Toy Story, the first one was 1995. Second one, 1999. Then you wait 11 freaking years for Toy Story 3, 2010. And then 9 years for Toy Story 4. So it's like, well, this better be good. You know what I mean? It's better be a good movie. And as far as all the... You know what? I don't have many positive things to say about Toy Story 4. Like, I know it has really good reviews just because it's a Pixar movie and it's got all of those, edifying traits that the critics like. Like the... the balance and the themes and the all those moments that the critics like they just love those certain things like the like the gender things and then the the maturity things and the like the heroes what the hell is it? Like the hero's path, I forget what it's called, the hero's journey or whatever, like those certain traits that the critics just love, and it's a Pixar movie, so it's generally going to be well done. And it certainly was, and it had all those, classic sort of Disney. Look, Disney knows how to tell a good story. All right, that's not, the story overall was, just in terms of a story, was good. But in terms of a Toy Story, in terms of if that was a good Toy Story movie, was that a good movie? I don't think it. I think it sucked. I think it was just. I'll go into this, but. And normally, I mean, I've seen a lot of movies and I don't do videos like this only because like I have to speak out about it. I have to speak the truth. So I go in there, movie starts, it comes on and they got, it started off, which was interesting. It starts off and it says 9 years ago at the beginning of the movie. So I'm thinking like, well, 9 years ago is 2010, which is when the last Toy Story came out, right? So 9 years ago, 2019, it was 2010. 2010 is when Toy Story 3 came out, which at that point in time, Andy was going to college and he donated the toys or whatever, right? And so I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, 9 years ago. But they say 9 years ago, but it's like Toy Story 2, it's like 20 years ago. Which I don't get that. Or maybe, because then I was sitting there thinking about it, because like, then they had this scene, which I gotta admit was pretty damn good, where like Bo Peep, like they sort of explain why Bo Peep wasn't in Toy Story 3, which honestly I think it's because they forgot, or it was like some overlooked thing, and now they're like, all right, let's come up with a story to explain that. I don't think when they made Toy Story 3 and Bo Peep wasn't in it, they're like, oh, well, this is going to be Toy Story 4. No, I don't think that at all. I even think they have admitted that to the extent that they've like ran through all these other plot ideas and so on and so forth. But it starts out, it's like 9 years ago, and they're at like that little house where like the ending of Toy Story 1 or 2, like the brick house. I think it's Toy Story 2. They said 9 years ago, but Andy's like a kid. It's like 9 years ago is 2010 when Toy Story 3 came out. And so like I'm sitting there and there's this cool scene with like Woody and Bo Peep, and like Bo Peep's like, why don't you come with me, Cher? Which is kind of like, you can say what you want about that. It's a pretty cool, not cool, but like, I don't know, it was a good scene. That was like a lot of, moral ambiguity for that scene. It was just really, it was a really edifying scene to watch and to think about. It was, a lot of food for thought in this scene. They're like under this car and it's raining, and Woody and Bo Peep are talking. Woody and Bo Peep's like, well, toys get lost all the time. Like, come with me, basically, which was, I don't know, it was food for thought in that scene. It was a good scene. But I wasn't thinking, like, I didn't even realize that's what Bo Peep meant, because I was too busy thinking about the fact that they said 9 years ago, but it's really like 20 years ago. Which, even if it was 9 years ago from when Toy Story 3, from like 2010 when Toy Story 3 took place, would be 2001, which is the Toy Story 2 came out in 1999, which I don't understand the timing of that. Or maybe it's supposed to be 9 years ago from Toy Story 3, which would be 2001, but maybe that's just kind of like a, it's like a, how do I say this? It's like, not an epilogue, but it's just sort of, 1999 and then 2001, and this just sort of happened then. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really a part of the Toy Story canon, if you will. It's just sort of this event that happened between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3, 9 years ago from Toy Story 3, which would be 2001, and between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3, Bo Peep was no longer there, and that was just sort of explaining why that was. I mean, it would be nice to have like a more, like a tighter timetable that wasn't this confusing. But what are you going to do? I mean, because I was expecting like Toy Story 4 would be like present day, which it was not. It was like, so Toy Story 4 was still like set in like 2010 if you sit there and do the math. So there you go. And so, so there's that. And so that part, okay, I'm all right, I'm cool with this. And then I started, like, because the movie starts going, it's like, okay, all the toys are with Bonnie, and they're going to, the daycare, and she makes this fork, and then the fork gets lost, and Woody's going to go right. This is like the whole story just in like 2 seconds. Fork gets lost, Bonnie's all sad, Woody has to go rescue the fork. He goes to do this, the fork gets like taken captive by like this demented doll, which, by the way, at this point of this movie, I'm watching this and I'm realizing every Toy Story movie has the same plot. Like, literally, Toy Story 1, you got like Sid, and he's like a sicko, and Woody's gonna go rescue Buzz. Toy Story 2, you get the prospector who's like this sicko and wants to like take Woody captive to go to this museum, and the other toys gotta come break him loose. Toy Story 3, they go to this daycare, like this demented teddy bear guy, and they gotta like escape that. And then Toy Story 4 is like this demented doll toy who like wants to steal Woody's voice box because she doesn't have one, because she wants to pull the string and have this girl that's playing there notice the doll and have somebody come play with her or whatever. It's the same friggin' plot. It's the same exact thing again, which, to be honest with you, I didn't mind that a lot. I mean, it would have been nice to see something creative. I don't really care that it's the same plot. Like, I know some people are mad about that. I'm not mad, but they're like, oh, well, it's a lack of creativity. Screw you. Like, that's, if the movie's entertaining and it was good plot that you enjoyed and it was fun, then who cares if it's kind of them rehashing the same thing? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, I noticed it, but I wasn't that upset about it. You know what I mean? I was like, kind of like, all right, well, there you go. Like, I wasn't really, I wasn't sitting there like, I wasn't like demanding my money back because it was the same. I mean, I don't really, it was, fine, whatever. He rescues another toy. I think it's a good plot too, which is why they did it again. I enjoyed it. I didn't really care that it was kind of the same thing. I mean, if you want to gripe about that, then whatever, but didn't really care about that it was the same thing. What I did care about, which is why I thought this movie was not very good. I mean, as far as a movie goes, it was good. But as far as like a Toy Story movie and a Disney movie and something you wanted to go see and enjoy, and was it enjoyable? Did you like it? Was it good? Is it something you want to, are you a fan? Are you whatever? No, it sucked as far as those things go. And this is why. So we see, and I warned you about all these spoilers, though. I mean, I told you at the beginning. I put it in the title, put it in the description. I mean, I told you. So, you got, at this point, Woody's going to go rescue the fork, and this, like, demented doll, like, wants his voice box because of what I just said. And he doesn't want it. He's like, no, screw you. And he's like, escapes. And then he meets up with Bo Peep. He's like, yo, Bo. And by the way, he went in the store because he saw like this sheep thing that made him think Bo Peep was in there. And so now he's like running around with Bo Peep and all this crap. And he's like, well, I gotta go rescue this fork. And Bo Peep's like, all right, let's go get this fork. And they go in there, and it's big plan to get the fork. And it doesn't work. And Buzz shows up. Which also, I want to just throw this out there. This is one of the knocks against this movie. This is one of the reasons why you could argue that, regardless of what your perspective is, why this was not a good movie, that other than Buzz, Woody, really not even Buzz, other than Woody, Bo Peep, the fork, but not even really the fork. The fork's kind of like just a supporting role here. Other than Woody, Bo Peep, and maybe this demented doll, but not really, none of the other characters have anything to do during this whole movie. All right, there's Woody and there's Bo Peep, and then all the other characters are like just these incidental, like they got like 2 lines in the whole movie, like they do nothing. Right, like all the other Toy Story movies, like there were all these roles and there's ambiguities and situations and scenarios and friendships and people doing all these things and all these toys with all these this thing is just Woody and Bo Peep. It's like the whole movie is just Woody and Bo Peep. Like, I mean, the other toys are kind of in it, but not really. Like, and it's like, you get Mr. Potato Head, who's got like 2 lines in the whole thing. You got Buzz, he's relatively involved, but he's kind of like a sidecar character. Then you've got Jesse, who's got a few lines. Like, everybody's got like a couple lines. Some of them have no lines. And then the whole movie is just Woody and Bo Peep. Like, it's just Woody and Bo Peep are just like, just that's the whole film. Like, because they don't really give any of the other toys anything to do, and they don't really have any lines. The whole movie's, which I was kind of surprised when I was watching it. I'm like, wait, because it sort of felt like the intro the whole time. Like, when is the actual movie going to take place? And that sort of was the whole. I mean, it was just like, when are Woody and Bo Peep? I mean, it's like, when is anybody else going to do anything here? They're like basically all in this RV. The whole thing's like a road trip, and the other toys are just in this RV the whole damn time. There's nothing for them to do. Most of them have no lines. Some of them have a few lines, but other than that, it's really just Woody and Bo Peep for this whole movie. Which that's kind of that's a legitimate knock against the movie, is because that's like, regardless of what you think of the movie, that's like a structural flaw. That's more. It's almost like, just in terms of storyboarding the movie, that represents just a lack of planning. I mean, because you're either gonna have this new story or you're not. It's like to have it be like kind of half in, half out, half-assed, like Woody and Bo Peep, but then we're gonna have some of these other guys. It's just a lack of direction almost. And I know this was like a Woody and Bo Peep, but it didn't really. I mean, that's kind of just a lack of planning right there. And so, and then so, Bo Peep's like, no, I'm not going back into the store because we barely escaped alive, and it's all whatever. And so Woody's like, no, I'm not leaving anybody behind. Good. I'm like, all right, good for Woody. Woody goes back in, and the toy's like, all right, look, you give me your voice box, I'll give you the fork. Which this part I really hate. I really hated this part, and I don't know. Yeah, I just didn't like this. It's like I didn't like that he gave it. Like he should. What they should have done, what I would have preferred to have seen, which would have been a lot better, is if all the toys just they got all the toys together and they all hatched a plot to like friggin' break it. When they kind of did it, but then they kind of quit, or no, they actually quit. Like Toy Story 2, like hatch one of these big, like Toy Story 2 was amazing. They like cross the city and they do all this stuff. And this one's just kind of like, oh well, it's too bad for that guy. Like they just kind of gave up, you know what I mean? And Woody goes back in, he's like, all right, here's the voice thing, which that really bothered me. I don't know, I would have preferred that instead what they did was all the toys went in there like guns blazing and like got out the fork and fought off the other toys. Which they did, but then they lost, and then they just quit and went home. And then Woody just goes in there himself, which I don't even think that's believable. Like, you saw Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, all the toys working together. Like, that would have given all the toys something to do, because I was just talking about how it's like Woody and Bo Peep, and none of the other toys have anything to do. Well, then, give all that, there you go. It's like I'm teeing the ball right up for you. Give all the toys something to do. All the toys go in, it's this big plan, and they bust the fork loose, and then screw this doll. Like, don't give her anything. She's out of her mind. She's got like these like creepy looking mannequins chasing everybody, which were really creepy looking, by the way. And then there you go. And then you go back in the van, you go back with Bonnie, and then that's a perfect perfect film. Instead, what they do, he gives her this voice box, which even though there's the rest of the plot, he doesn't get it back. She's like, you can have it back, but he doesn't get it back. He doesn't ask for it. Like, she's like, you can have it back. Because what's happening is this doll goes up to the girl, doesn't go upstairs, she's on the shelf, she plays the thing, and the girl's like, yeah, screw that toy, and then she's all upset because this like her whole dream was to get played with by this girl, and it doesn't happen, and whatever. And at this point, I'm thinking like, all right, give him the voice box back, and then the doll will go with him, and they'll all go with Bonnie, and they'll live happily ever after. No, they don't do that. Instead, like they start to do that, and then I'm still pissed that she didn't give him the voice box back. Or she did, but she's like, well, you can have it back. But he just doesn't, Woody's like, just doesn't take it. Or he just doesn't even address that, which was really annoying. I don't know what, like, of the whole thing, that might be like the second most annoying part. Was that. Like, just the next part, the ending's the worst part of the ending was an atrocity. It was horrific. But, for some reason, I don't know why, that just really was annoying that he didn't get the voice. I don't know. I don't know. Is it like an OCD thing? Like I don't really know. It was just kind of like that. That's like the missing piece. Like he should have taken it back, and now we got to wait. Friggin', we'll all be long gone. But matter of fact, that's the other thing. Because I was thinking about, well, now how long do we have to wait to see what happens next? I think that might be the last Toy Story movie because of the ending. And so what happened was. And then basically he doesn't get it back, which was really pissing me off that he didn't get the. She's like, you can have it back, and he just doesn't address it. He just doesn't take, which was annoying. And then so they all are like running back to this van to get back with Bonnie and everybody, and then there's this one girl who's lost, and then the doll's like, oh no, look at that girl's in trouble. Let me go be, which is okay, fine. And then she leaves, and now she's gone. And Woody doesn't get the voice box back. Now, like, it's gone for good, which that still irks me. I don't know why I'm really pissed about that. And then they're running back to the van, and they're going to get in, and then Bo Peep's like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep oops. This is how I am. I'm on the brink of cursing about this thing. Bo Peep's like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep being a friggin' homeless ass toy. I'm just gonna keep being on the road, you know what I mean? I'm just going to keep being one of these, layabouts, these vagabonds, you know what I mean? And Bo Peep's like, you know what, I know it's going to be fun coming with Bonnie, and we can get the band back together, and all the toys can be together, and it can all be happy. You know what, screw that. Let me just go wander off in the woods and just keep, just being this, like, homeless, dirty, no, go with Bonnie and go with all the toys. Like, that's what everybody wants. Instead, it's like, no, I'm just going to keep, just being like this lost, abandoned toy. Like, And it was really annoying. And what's even worse than that, and this is the big letdown here, and the big spoiler, Woody goes with her. So all the toys go with Bonnie. Buzz, everybody are like, all right, see you later. And Woody gives the badge to Jesse and just leaves with Bonnie. And then it ends, and that's it. And so now Woody's gone. Like all these years, friggin' 20 plus years now. 24 years of being with the Toy Story. I mean, even though I was a wee lad when this all started, but nonetheless, after all this is what we get. Woody just decides, like, screw this, I'm out. Woody's just, drops the mic, like, that's it, I'm done, I'm out, peace. He's just quits. What the hell? Like, and so I saw that, and I was angry. I saw that, I'm like, I want my money back. That to see this, like, what a disaster. That's like the worst. That is the worst Disney plot. And everybody thinks Cars 2 was like the worst Pixar movie. This sucked. This was bad. That's a bad plot. I mean, so much of it was good until he doesn't get the voice box back, and then he leaves. Like, Woody's like the main guy, though. How do you get rid of Woody? That's like if you're watching a James Bond movie and James Bond dies. It's like, so that's it, basically, now. Like, that's... Because as soon as I saw that, not only was I angry about it, but I also really thought, and I really think this, I think that is the last toy, I think that is the end of Toy Story. I think that's the last Toy Story movie, because when you think about it, first of all, it was written like an ending. It was written like, it was the end. And you get rid of Bo Peep, and you get rid of that other doll, and you get rid of Woody, Woody's the main dude. That's like if you're watching Batman, Woody's Batman. If you're watching, James Bond, Woody's James Bond. He's the whole thing. If you get rid of him, what's left, right? And so Bo Peep's gone. That other demented doll's gone. Woody's gone. Like, these people are gone now. And they didn't that's the other thing. They didn't introduce any new toys either. It's just the fork, which, I mean, that's not going to be your main character. It's just not. That ain't it. And so there's Woody. So Woody's gone. Bo Peep's gone. This other doll's gone. They didn't introduce any new toys. They didn't even give the existing toys anything to do during the whole movie. So now we've just lost. Andy was gone in the last movie, right? And so now it's like, what's left? Who's like... If there was Toy Story 5, what would it be? It would just be, like, I guess, like, Bonnie would be grown up, right? By the time they get around to this freaking thing. Bonnie's grown up. And then there's, like, Buzz. And what would they do? Would they, like, go find Woody and then they all get back together? Or would they... Like, what would it... I mean, how... Because they painted themselves into this box. Like, what could the next one even be at this point? Because you've eliminated Bo Peep, Woody, this other doll. You haven't introduced any new characters. You didn't give any of the existing characters anything to do. One problem, just from a logistics standpoint, is that some of these, like, actors have passed away. Who are, like... Because I know, like, Slinky, between Toy Story 2 and 3, that guy died, and Don Rickles is gone now, and so... Maybe part of the reason why they didn't give these other toys something to do is, like, they couldn't get the voices anymore. I mean, I still think, like, if you're friggin' Walt Disney, I have to think you can get somebody who can at least do a damn good impression of the other toys, if that's the problem. I mean, even if it's a little different, does it matter? No. I mean, so I don't think that's really the problem. I think that was it. I think that's the last Toy Story movie. I don't know why, because that's Pixar's bread and butter. That's their claim to fame, was Toy Story. Why would you end it like that? I mean, because Toy Story 3, I mean, Andy gives the toys to Bonnie, and it's like, okay, that's like that just opens up a whole new world of adventures for these toys. You know what I mean? It's like that's a clean slate. You can have any movie you want now. And now, you get rid of Woody, now what? That's like the end. It's like, It's like I said, if you're watching James Bond, it's like James Bond dies. It's like, well, what's the next one gonna be? Like, that's it. And I thought that was it. I mean, what I would have preferred to have seen, I think what everybody would have preferred to have seen is Woody gets his voice box back. The other doll, I mean, I didn't mind that she went off with like the lost girl. I didn't really care about that, and that's fine. Probably even better. But then, if you have, he gets the voice box back. The Bo Peep comes back, with all the toys. They get back in the RV, and Bonnie's like, "Yo, look at this Bo Peep. This is cool." And he's playing with Bo Peep, and they're all playing, and that's it. Like that would have been that's the film. Tremendous film. Instead, look at what you got. You got this, like Woody just, Woody drops the mic. Woody's out. Woody's done. He quits. Abandons all the other toys. That's it. Like, what kind of a movie is that? What a disaster. So, I mean, here's my 2 cents on this thing. Yeah, I mean, that is what a complete debacle. What a mess. What a complete debacle here. I mean, that was. And I think that's the last one. And if you look that up, I think a lot of people are kind of saying that. I mean, think about the other Disney movie. Like, is there anything else where they've ever had like a definitive last? I mean, before the movie, they were advertising the new Frozen movie. So I mean, but there was only one of those, and I mean, it's just yeah, I think that was it. I think that's the end. That is because I don't see what would the next one even be. It would have to be. Like, what would I mean? And the other thing too, if there was another one, I feel like it wouldn't be such a long wait for the next one. I feel like it wouldn't be like 10 years. I feel like in like 5 years, you could if there was gonna be Toy Story 5, I feel like it would be like in 5 years you'd get it because like, it just sort of felt like it wasn't like this big grand ending. It was sort of like this kind of letdown, like this sort of okay. You walk out of the theater angry, but like it was just sort of this, like it felt like if there's gonna be another one, if there will ever be another one, it's gonna come sooner rather than later. Because now it's sort of like they're setting themselves up for, the adventures of Woody and Bo Peep, and then you got the other. It's just, so and if there isn't, then I just think that's the end, and there'll never be another one. So. What a debacle! What a disaster! I mean, that's just not what you want to see. That's like, I mean, I can keep giving you these examples. That's like if you went to see, what's another one like The Incredibles, and then they just all died. It's like that's not like that's it. It's just what a disaster. So I mean, what can I say? All right, guys. Well, that's my 2 cents. I did not like this movie. I thought it was a complete debacle. I mean, as far as a movie goes, I mean, this was not like what are like the worst movies? This wasn't like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. This was not, what was that Adam Sandler movie that's terrible? Or which one's not terrible? This wasn't, just think of any awful movie. This wasn't that, but it was not. I thought it was bad. That was really bad. Just the ending was. I mean, who went with that ending? I mean, really. I mean, what's the benefit of that to anybody? So, I guess you can imagine your own ending if you want to. But, all right, guys, other than that, that's my 2 cents. Did not like it, but what are you going to do? All right, till next time. See ya.